Thank you for joining us on Worldwide Slot Car Chat on Zoom, number 130. I'm Greg. We got John, Don, Mike, Tony, Paul, Jim, Jeremy, Chris, Martin, Garth, Dennis, and other people. We're going to have fun talking about all kinds of slot cars. Please feel free to join us to talk about your kind of slot cars, and we'll have a lot of fun talking slot cars. Does anybody want to take a guess what day it is?
Wednesday.
Correct. Does anybody
No
want to
points for that, Jeremy.
anybody want to
Nailed
guess
it.
what I got in my email a few days ago?
Oh, you got another
It's-
payment. Woo!
I got more money from Google. So we're going to do another contest, but I posed this to you guys. Normally, I tell them to pay me anytime it's $100 or more, which is, random throughout the year. I looked at my past, when the contests happened.
Teresa.
It was basically, January-ish, and then like April, and then nothing until like September, and then now, right? So I'm asking you guys, should we go ahead and do another 100-ish giveaway, or should we wait for the next one and do something bigger so that the price point allowable is 200 rather than 100? Yes, John.
I say bigger because it'll be closer to the holiday season.
Well, that's why I was pointing out the randomness of when the payments come in, because I was thinking myself, and that's why I looked at the history of when it happened to see if I could say, well, if we wait long enough, then maybe it would be a great, holiday present, Christmas, Hanukkah, whatever. But I can't guarantee that. It might be next January or February before, it builds up to $100. If I just say, well, the last one happened early September and this one's happening late October, maybe the next one will be early December, but that only will happen if we get lots of views and lots of ad revenue and etc. So if we wanted to say, let's do that and try to get it to the end of the, get it as a holiday gift, then everybody's got to share the videos, ask people to watch the video, get more viewership, more subscribers, more views, more everything, in order to boost that revenue quicker so that we have another payment before the holidays. Otherwise, it'll just happen at some random point, which I can't
Right.
predict.
No, but even if it's in January, January's still a winter-ish month in the northern hemisphere, and it'll still work out well, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that too. So
Yeah.
We could still do one in December if the payment doesn't come in and just do it for 100 for Christmas.
that's true too. But then it's like, okay, well, why didn't we just go ahead and do it? I mean, if we're gonna wait, then we're gonna wait until I get the next payment, regardless of how long it takes. So that's the question I'm posing to you guys. If you want me to wait until we get the next payment to do a big giveaway rather than a small or what we have been doing, raise your hand, virtual or physical, I don't care. If you want to do a giveaway right now, keep your hand down.
And down.
Hand down for giveaway right now, hand up for waiting to do a big giveaway.
Meeting.
Okay, if I see a hand, I'm counting it as we want to wait for the next payment.
I'll make a prediction because I think waiting will also coincide with your 2,000th subscriber.
How high am I? I haven't even looked lately.
1.8, but I'm not counting.
Yeah. It seems about 50-50. We'll talk about it some more later. So let's not make a decision right now. We'll talk about it some more later. So let it roll around in your head. Let's start with show and tell. I've got a couple of new cars to show. Anybody else want to do a show and tell? Raise your virtual hand to make sure I get to you. Otherwise, go ahead, Chris. I'll let you go first.
Oh, okay. Caught me unprepared here.
Jim's ready. You want to go, Jim, or you want to wait for?
No, I'm
You ready enough? Okay, we'll wait for Chris.
okay here. We had a couple of guys come into, or a guy come into Ernie's store last week who has not raced since the mid 60s. And he brought in a couple of old corroded up, beaten up cars, and he asked me if I could refurb them. So I have done one. I'll show it to you. The only guy who even remotely, I think, on here will know what this is Dennis. So if Dennis knows what it is that up?
Yep.
Mhm.
I assume that's the after.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have pictures
Dennis,
of
you know what
before?
this is?
No.
Nope.
Okay. This is a Champion Snuggler chassis.
Ah, yes.
Came out in 1966, and it came out. I was pretty excited to do this until I started doing it, and it's the biggest nightmare I've ever done in terms of a refurb. So Champion made these. This is all the center section here is all cast aluminum. And they had a couple of, there's a guide tongue that bolts on, and you can bolt on the body mounts. In those days, the body mounts were like this, and you just put self-tapping screws through the body. Ugly, but you know, that's what we had at the time. And this, so you could buy this complete single center section with bolt-on pans. They also had an option, which is this wire section with the brass and the front end, which basically turned the chassis into an isofulcrum, which means the whole center section pivots up and down. This is a guide stop. This is a stop here to stop the chassis going up too far and too down. So this was all taken apart, rebuilt. The motor was redone, new brushes, new springs, and polished, and all done like that.
Looks wonderful.
Well, it kind of looks wonderful. This is the original weight, the guide weight on it. And typically the guys would epoxy these on, and this guy sort of wanted to keep it stock-ish as possible. So I really didn't like the look of the epoxy on here, but I didn't want to take it off and redo the thing. So I just polished up the weight, polished everything up, made some new brushes. I had to make this little Z-shaped stop for the chassis pans. Pretty neat stuff back in the day. These little hex-shaped brass things, these wheels are actually threaded inside, and these little hex things, you can just see a little slot on either side for a screwdriver. These little hex things actually screwed into the wheels, and then they went over the 16th inch.
Spiced it down for a 16th axle.
Yeah. Which was very cool. And then you just solder on some little guide stoppers and stuff on here. I'll show you one more picture, which is the sort of the nightmare scenario of the whole thing. Is this guy. That up? This is the back end. And the isofulcrum, what happens is these are the flanges of the bushings in the cast magnesium motor carrier, and they support, this is an 1/8 inch axle. And then this aftermarket piece here that runs all around, which is the iso, this has its own bushings in here.
Yeah.
And these were not made together as a complete unit from the factory. This piece was a single aftermarket piece, and then the center piece was a separate piece. So as luck would have it, they never really ended up being aligned. So for anybody who's aligned 2 bushings perfectly, that's one thing, but to align 4 bushings perfectly is a complete and utter disaster. It is a nightmare. And because these slope sort of from front to back, if you mess around with too much of the bushings, you start getting the axle cockeyed, and it's a real mess. And so anyway, it was fun to do, but it was probably the most work rebuilding a slot car that I've ever made. But runs great as far as it goes. I was never a fan of this whole isofulcrum chassis design. Later versions basically had a tube back here, and then this wire would come back and then run across a a separate tube, so you wouldn't have the 4 axle bushings. So it was a much nicer design and worked much better. But anyway, it goes around just fine.
Right.
Yeah, the body was an old. It was funny. I think the body on it right now is originally from Revell. It was one of those old butyrate Revell Genie bodies.
Ah,
And I'm not sure, it seems to me that in the later years, like 67, 68, when the crash came, Champion was basically putting together anything they could. So I'm not sure if they bought a bunch of the Revell bodies from them and installed them on the car. It looks fairly stockish, but again, Dennis would know this, butyrate is what all clear plastic bodies were made of in the 60s. And they, number one, they yellow, and number two, they split all over the place. So, I
and
think-
number 3, if they're painted with too hot to paint, they curl.
Oh, well, yeah. So this one, the paint's not bad. Unfortunately, the splits all over the place. Luckily enough, if you if you tape the splits shut and then coat the inside of the body where the split is with shoe goo or E6000 or something, it does a really good job. But you still have this hairline fracture that you can kind of see on the outside. So it's not perfect, but it'll have to do, because I don't think I'm going to have any luck finding a butyrate Revell Genie body in a 24 scale. So that's still under progress. I'm trying to figure out what to do with that and how far to go with that. And if I do, or when I do finish that, I'll post pictures up. But interestingly enough, all this design and everything you see here, this is a 55-year-old plus slot car. So, you know, we think we have some really advanced designs coming out today. They had some pretty cool stuff back in 1965 as well. So
That crown gear looks brand new.
the mesh on this, I was surprised.
The pinion
put a
looks
couple
like
of
it's worn a
spacers
little, but
in.
the gear itself, it looks very good.
Oh yeah, no, it looks like it. I mean, he said it was run, but I don't know if Dennis, if he switched out and put a new crown in, but for a Cox crown gear, this one is amazing. It's got virtually no run out,
Oh, nice.
which is quite a
Unusual,
rarity
yeah.
for Cox crowns, and it's nice and smooth and it works
Looks
great.
good. Yeah, great. Very nice.
Anyway.
Are those urethanes on the back?
Yeah, well, I put these on the back. He wants to have sponge tires, and originally this came with a 540 threaded axle with some sponge tires on it. The 540 threaded axle was bent, so I've got some new hubs for him. And one of the guys who does tires for Ernie is doing up some sponge tires. I just use these basically in the same size just to get ride heights and make sure everything was as square as I could possibly get it. So it will be on sponges eventually. That's me done, unless anybody's got any questions.
Very nice.
Yeah, Dennis, excuse me, Chris?
Yeah.
Where is that in relation, time frame wise, to the La Cucaracha?
A couple of years before.
Okay.
Yeah. The Cucaracha was an ISO as well, but the ISO worked on a separate pin, a hollow tube that was threaded inside with 2 screws on either side of the chassis. So you did not have 4 axle bushings that you had to align. You only had 2.
Yeah, I just wonder if that predated the La Cucaracha. Obviously it does.
Yep.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for sharing, Chris. And Jim, you are next, sir.
Let's see here. Why is that not coming up?
I didn't do it.
I've got the program running, but it doesn't want to share screen. There it is. Okay.
Oh, good. Is it running?
Yeah. Is it up?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. This is
Um,
Ted's Ted's track.
Yeah, you saw this picture a couple of weeks ago or so of Ted's track that Bob Scott put together. Well, he took it apart. He put it in a truck, drove it to Loomis, California, which is about a half hour outside of Sacramento. And so there's the puzzle. And Bob's there putting it together over the weekend. Ted was out racing. I was in Arizona doing birding stuff. And so Bob put the track together with some help from friends. And then Ted got back and they started putting the whole puzzle together. And it is now installed in Ted's house. So that's the latest update on what is, at this point in time, Ted's got a really cool dog named Cody. And so right now, the name of this circuit, pending a contest to name it, is Barcelona. So, and that came out from somebody. I can't remember who did it. It wasn't me, but it may stick. So that's
I think it
as
should
of now,
stick.
Circuit Barcelona. It runs from the driver's stand from right to left. So in this picture, up straight away into a slight bank, and then over the overpass and then back around. So that's a new track. They're rubbering it
Very
in
nice.
this week, and so we're getting ready to race on it.
So this is the one that was half destroyed in the windstorm that Bob had out in Arizona.
Actually, this one was in the storeroom when the windstorm came up.
Oh, so it wasn't that
And
same
yeah,
one.
so the one that got semi-destroyed was the track that he built after that. It was a hill climb that he built for himself, a mini hill
Oh,
climb.
okay.
And so this one was pretty much spared. It was very fortunate it was spared for that. So,
Oh, okay.
so that's the update from Northern California.
What's the footprint on that, Jim? It looks, I mean, in his house, it looks a lot bigger than it did under the tarpaulin.
It's 8 by 20.
Is it? Okay.
Yep. It's in a upstairs, not kind of a loftish type area upstairs.
Yep.
So they had to build it so it could get up the stairway.
Yeah.
So it's 8 by 20 is the overall footprint.
That's a good size for a home track.
Perfect.
All right, thanks for that update, Jim. And Mr. Smith, you are next. Get you to unmute yourself there.
Yeah, it's just well, a quick update from before when I asked about anybody could get me knew anywhere about getting me a Jensen Interceptor or where I could get a Jensen Interceptor. And as you recommended, I messaged Vlad and he very quickly got back to me and said that he's got quite a lot on, that he would have a go at sorting me out. And this is like the first print, literally just taking it off of the printer, so it needs cleaning up, but it's not.
Paul, that looks great. That
Does-
looks great.
That is really good. It's really detailed. You can see all the headlights and everything. So I'm really pleased. So literally, obviously it needs cleaning up, but I've come home from work today, took it off the printer and just taken the sports off. So yeah, so I just wanted to thank Vlad really for getting that done for me.
Yeah.
And then another quick one for Dennis. Look, we went away to watch the football the other day. I got that one in a box of cars. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to be off to watch the football again today. So nice. What's that? West Ham?
No, Spurs.
Spurs? Oh, it looked like. Oh, I see it at the back now. Yeah, the badge on the front didn't look.
Yeah, that's the old badge. That's why.
Ah, okay. Cool. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. I'm off to watch them again today, so I'm going to have to leave you guys around 30 minutes or so.
That's me.
All right,
And
thanks for
Paul's going to give me hell again.
All right,
The
thanks for sharing. Paul.
Arsenal man, and
I'm keeping quiet.
I hear that.
Being good. All right, Jeremy, you got your hand up. Go ahead.
All right. So I had a cheap little soldering iron and I got the one you guys recommended, is it Hacko 601?
Yep.
I got that and I got my first little bit of soldering done. I know I'm not up to spec yet, but I finally was able to solder brass to metal. I've never been able to do that. I was like, oh my God. Now I have a quick question on these chassis like this. These tires are just temporary, but the gears are always really loud. Like every time I put these things together, they just don't mesh unless I move this like further away from the pinion. Is that normal? Like when it's snug up against the pinion, it grinds like a tooth grinder.
You don't want it snug.
So just it's okay to loosen it, like move
It's
it.
got to be, yeah, it's got to be a little loose.
Yeah,
Has to
you
be.
gotta have-
But I want this part to not move, right? Like just
Correct.
loosen it
Right.
here and but keep this tight.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the second question I have is everybody in my club uses these braid guides like this.
Yeah.
Should I try to convert that to like a something like that uses a slotted,
No.
wood guide, or just keep
No.
using these because these seem
Those are-
crazy.
way better.
These are way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a nut on here.
Yeah.
Do I just put the nut down, or do I put a washer in between the nut
Nope. Just the nut. Just
Okay.
the nut, you're fine.
and just snug it up just so it
Well, don't
turns?
snug it up. You got to. The thing to do is you tighten the nut up until it's tight.
Yeah.
Right.
And then-
Really
Okay.
tight.
Okay.
And then you leave it for maybe half an hour.
Okay.
And then you back the nut off ever so slightly until you get until the guide moves easily left to right,
Yeah.
but hasn't got any wobble in it. So
Like
you're
up and down-
backing
you
it
don't
off,
want any up
backing
and
it
down
off,
wobble?
backing it off. You don't want it to wobble up and down, and
Okay.
you don't want it to wobble side to side, but you must be able to rotate
Freely rotate. Okay.
freely, right?
Mhm.
And that the reason for tightening it down so tight is just to let everything settle
Yeah.
and make sure that the nut is absolutely flat on the tongue and that there's no play there. And then you back it off ever so slightly, little bit at a time until it's nice and smooth.
I'll give
You
that a
might,
go.
you might want to check, Jeremy, on sometimes the guide tongues might have a little bit of flash around the hole or the edges.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's always good to get a bit of sandpaper or something and make sure that the top and bottom surface of the guide tongue itself have no burrs.
Clean
And
it up,
then
clean up the flash like it's a model.
Yeah, and then the next time you're ordering stuff from a commercial raceway, you can buy some very, very thin Teflon guide spacers. And you can put they're great for spacing your guide for doing the ride height. Unlike a plastic car, you really can't adjust the front axle height. So you can play a little bit with these guide spacers. And they also, and you can get them, they're like, God, 3 thou thick or something like that. 5 thou. And they will take out any further little imperfections in either the bottom of the guide nut or the top or bottom of the guide tongue and give you a much smoother rotation.
Okay, cool. I
And
will
then-
check that out.
Yeah, and then on the back end, undo your crown gear and then set the side play of the axle. So you basically want the tightest, as tight as you can go on the axle, but still have it spin freely. Right? And then set your crown gear. And when you set the crown gear, you just want a hint of lash. So you want to be able to turn the rear tire and have the gear just move a little bit, least amount as possible. And you also want to check that at 5 or 6 spots around the circumference of the crown, because crowns are never, when I was talking about that Cox gear, I was really surprised that it had no run out. So oftentimes if
They
you
wobble a little.
yeah, so if you put a crown gear on and you might just set the lash and you go, geez, it's perfect. And then if you turn it, 3 or 4 teeth, if there is any wobble, you'll find a tight spot. So always set your lash on the tightest spot of the gear.
It looked to me like you had a slotted offset gear in there.
I did, just because when I had several gears here. I had like one from Mid America, that's a 27 tooth, and then I had a slotted 27 tooth.
Yeah.
But when I looked at this Goblin chassis, it looked like the motor pod is offset a little bit because it doesn't
Downward,
line up.
yeah. Okay.
So I just tried this and I got the smoothest mesh so far that I could
Okay,
do.
good. And
Looks
you're
good.
using, and
Yeah.
if you're using the slotted gear, or you're using a slotted pinion,
Yeah, the slotted
all right,
9.
because if you use the Mid America gear, it won't mesh with that pinion.
Yeah, I got that Mid-America gear too because it said 48 pitch. I'm still trying to learn about pitch. I didn't realize it was this convoluted. But
Yeah, it's very, yeah. Okay,
it
so-
says it's going to line up, but sometimes it don't line up very well.
But it's not so much lineup. The problem is that there's all of the gears that are made here in the US are generally made to the imperial diametral pitch, right? Which is the set of relationships that determine the size of the gear and the shape of the teeth and the space between them. And it's all done in imperial measurements. Whereas everything that comes from Europe and China, for all of the 1/32 scale stuff is done in a metric pitch. And it's an M50 pitch, which is ever so slightly different to the 48 pitch that we have. And it's just enough that they don't mesh properly if you mix the two.
Okay.
And one more thing, when you start buying stuff, I'm just going to share my screen quickly because I want to show you these. These are the little guide nuts that I make that are available from Slot Car Corner and from Electric Dreams. They do require a special driver, but they are very, very, very much better than a regular hex nut. Because they're all CNC machined and they're all machined at once, so that the threads are absolutely at 90 degrees to the flat surface, and the surfaces are flat and things like that.
Cool.
And you can buy them in brass as well as aluminum.
I know, Dennis, I didn't know you had your own line of parts. I'll check that out.
You
I'm going
don't?
to check that out
You
now.
didn't?
I didn't
Oh my
know.
goodness! Sure, I have a whole line of parts.
We're going to have to talk to Samson Classic and get them to sponsor the show
Uh-huh.
with all their dough.
There's ball bearing wheels. There's
Wow.
axle collars. These are the drivers, the large handle drivers. Those are the nuts. You get them in brass. You can get a pack like that with a little driver. For those of you that have that use alligator clips, I make this little thing that organizes the wires so that you don't mess up your connections. And I make all kinds of other little RPM discs for them, and for motor shafts and tire grinding mandrels and all kinds of things.
That's awesome.
Anyway, that's more than I need to show and tell.
One last thing.
Yeah.
When the difference between the soldering iron, like I had just a cheap little Harbor Freight jobby, and this one, it's incredible. So like if you're on the fence about buying a soldering iron, it's crazy how much of difference that soldering iron made.
Mhm.
Spend
Oh,
the
yeah.
extra $50 and get a good one.
Oh yeah.
That's all for me.
I second that, having purchased the same thing.
Yeah, it just
Oh, yeah, I
melts
have
the
one as
solder.
well. The only thing about it is that the lead, the wire, is kind of thick and stiff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And you can get used to that after a while. What I did on mine was I opened it up and I took that lead out and I put in a lead off a Weller soldering iron that I'd broken at some stage, which is a lot more flexible. You can do that, or some guys actually just rip off the outside,
Casing,
the thick outside casing, and hold the three wires together with a couple of zip ties along the way.
You got yourself some liquid acid flux, Jeremy?
I got acid flux and I got acid core solder is what I started using. I don't know if
That's a
if
good
it's any
start.
difference. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a start. I just wanted to see if I could get brass
That's
to connect.
great.
I've never done that
Yep.
before.
Yeah,
So.
the combination of liquid acid flux and a good iron is night and day difference between a $10 iron and paste flux and stuff like that.
And
Yeah.
you'll find that you use a lot less solder when you've got a really hot iron and good flux.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right.
And I've got
Very
some
nice.
tablets to counter acid reflux.
Sorry?
Oh,
Yeah. What you can actually, yeah,
John
you
is
could
the-
crush,
John is the
you
lone
could
funster
crush
win.
them and use them.
I know
as a-
nobody gives a flux, but hey, well,
save that. Save those
Nobody
for
gives
John.
a flux. Yeah.
All right.
Greg, mute.
Yeah, I was about to.
I
Right.
was just gonna thank Dennis for sharing his nuts.
Thank you. All right, moving on. We got other people.
They're not mine. They're Harry's nuts, those.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. All right, Paul, you've got your hand up. Go ahead.
Right, this is going to be a laugh. I've been sitting all day transferring pictures over onto show and tell.
Yeah, go for it.
On my laptop, and this is the missus's laptop. Now, I don't know if it's going to work.
Give it a try.
So what do I do? Right, screen share.
Yeah. Then you click whatever you want to share.
Oh, sugar, I can't find nothing.
Yeah,
But you should have them open already, Paul, before you share them though. Open it up and then that'll help.
Okay, right, I'll cancel that. Right. So what have I got to do? Go into Chrome.
Yeah, go to your browser, open your Google Pictures or whatever.
I just lost you.
No, we're still here. You just can't see.
You're still here. You're still with us.
I hope we're not going to see something that's blue and yellow.
Yeah, don't look at the light.
I hope we are going to see blue and yellow things.
I don't know. I think I've just lost everything here because I've got a blank screen.
Keep playing around. We'll come back to you. Dewan, you got your hand up. What would you like to share today? And don't forget to unmute yourself. Tap the screen, tap unmute.
There it goes.
There you go.
All right. Using a different laptop and the mic went out on that. So I'm using my phone to communicate. And let me see if I have to do a combination of both things, apparently. Hold on. My screen share.
It's a little bit trickier on a phone. There we go. Okay.
Okay, so that's my my laptop.
That looks like a house to me.
Oh, it does.
Yeah, you're sharing your house.
Yes. Okay. Well, that's what I wanted to do, and I don't know how to turn my my phone camera to reverse it. So I guess I just have to just flip it myself. Can you? Okay. Well, I was gonna have that as my backdrop, but that's not gonna work out. But then what I want to show you was I have commissioned to have. Can you see my other screen, my phone screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna switch over to that. Okay.
See a model of a house.
Baby house.
And
so that's the house. That was my house that I sold in Los Angeles. It's my house, my house that I grew up in. And I've made a couple, or I've had commissioned to have a couple of these things made up for part of my layout.
Oh, nice.
And
so a 30-second scale copy of your house that you sold.
That is correct.
Nice.
And I was supposed to have had a 1/32 scale version and a 1/24 scale version, but the 1/24 scale, she just said, was just too humongous and she underbid it, et cetera. So instead I got two 1/32 scales. And the reason I want the 1/24 and the 1/32 scale is because I have a lot of models that's going to go in conjunction with this. Models of cars. Well, they're going to be slot cars, but they're currently kit models of 60. Well, ideally, I want a 63 Chevy Impala 4-door, which does not exist. But what I do have is a 61 2-door, but it's 1/24 scale. And I also have a 66 truck, which is the truck that my dad uses as his back and forth to work truck that I'm going to be turning into a slot car. And that's also 1/24 scale. So that's why I want, but now I have to do, since I have everything in 1/32 scale, I'm going to have to move everything to try to find the same models in 1/32 scale.
Or you could just put them all out on the front drive and pretend that the house is further away.
But they look hideously bigger than, well, yeah. Because I do have, and this also was not fully completed because I'm going to be putting a white picket fence similar to the one it was in my backdrop. That was in my screen share, and I was also going to put the grass and things like that so that the whole thing is in place. But anyway, thought I'd share that little memento, and I'll be back for the Club Corner stuff.
All right, that's great. That's really cool. I like that.
That looks really cool.
All right, Paul, you want to give it another try? You're muted.
Please lower my hand here.
I got you.
Thank you.
All right, Paul, we'll come back to you. Big Dan, you can go ahead.
I've unmuted myself, have I?
You're good.
Good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so after 3 weeks of no shows, I thought I would have something to show until this week, between taking my brother to a medical appointment at Phil's end of the state and other appointments and things like that. I just didn't manage to get on. So I'll hit the share screen thing here. There we go.
Coming in. There it is. I'll take one of those.
No, that's not blue and yellow. That's yellow and blue. It's different.
Well, I thought after 3 weeks missing, I'd get some brownie points by pandering to Greg's passion for blue and yellow. So this is a car. It's a Ford Skyliner. 57. I bought a couple of kits of it many years ago, and finally they got some decals on it recently because I'm hoping to race in a vintage NASCAR series that Phil's group has got going in Hobart in a couple of weeks' time. So I put things together. That's just a few different shots of it.
And 1/32 scale.
1/32 scale, yeah.
That's a 59, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the 59s. I know the numbers.
It's a 59.
Read that.
Yeah. 59 right there.
Yeah. That is purely coincidental because these are Pato's decals. They're actually from a US racer, a fellow called Tom Pistone or Pistoni.
Oh yeah.
Tiger Tom.
So I've appropriated his decal, his scheme, and the stone racing on the side is just the PI out of Tom's name just cropped off, or cut off. So there we go.
We need to tell the story about Tiger Tom Pistoni. There's a very, very good link to slot cars there.
Yeah.
So let Dan finish, and I'll tell you.
Well, okay, right. Well, I've got a few more shots. A few weeks ago, Chris and I were talking, or we were discussing the front axle set up on the Ernie's scale racing chassis. That the mounting holes for the front axle were too high. So what I did, I cut them off and I soldered a piece of. Yeah. I've been having elocution lessons. I can now say solder and aluminum. So I'm getting with the program, So a piece of 3/32 ID square tubing, just soldered on the front where I cut the original axle mounts out, and it fits up nicely there now. So all I need to do is get it going, get a body on it, and get it racing to see how it goes. So
Yeah.
Is that you, Chris? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there wasn't a very good focus there. I did everything in a hurry this morning, but I went with a square tube so I could get a much more solid joint there when it's soldered to the chassis. So moving right along. That's another my special out of focus shots.
This is the effect of what do they say? Screwdrivers in the morning, right?
Yeah.
Alcohol.
No, it was the effect of flux fumes.
It's the effect of drinking water and not having any alcohol in my system. That's the problem, Dennis.
Hold on, everyone. Keep in mind, he's taking these pictures upside down.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we got to remember that.
Blood rushing to your head and everything.
Standing on my head. Yeah. Usually that takes about 4 or 5 stubbies. So anyway, a couple of weeks ago when I was watching the show, I think, Dennis, did you have one of the Mid-America midget races showing? Yep. This, believe it or not, is a resin body made in Australia. And I found out about it by looking at, I just purely happened on it by accident, looking at the Home Racing World site when, forum, when they were, mentioning the Mid-America monograms type midgets. And so this place called the Parts Box, it's 24 scale. So I decided to buy one, and I've got an old EJ's hobby chassis that I'll probably try and put this on. So it came out. So next, another shot of the body. There's all the loose bits with the driver and his arms and the steering wheel and the little, the trumpets for the
the boat tail.
Yep. Okay. Oh yeah, and the tail piece. Yep.
Are you going to have to make that front motor, Den?
I hadn't thought about it.
No, I think you could probably fit it underneath the driver.
I'll see how I go. I hadn't got the stage yet of swearing you in it. Well, I've got some Penelope Pit Lane chassis and things like that as well. So yeah, I might do something with a slim can motor. I'll see how it goes, Chris. Anyway, and want to get a bit closer to.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, I don't know how. I must be going backwards here. Hang on.
Looks like you loop back around to the beginning.
Oh my God, Dan! If you were that, I'm dreading showing mine.
Yeah, I'm actually missing a couple of pictures here. Hang on, I'll try this one. Can you see that one?
No.
No, it looks like you opened a different window.
Oh, okay.
You'll need to stop the share and then share that.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's just get the other here. I don't know why it just didn't follow on in that other
the share screen thing is weird. If you choose share, when you do a share, if you choose desktop or screen rather than an app, then it'll show everything on your screen that you see.
Yeah. Okay, I'll just try the share again. And I don't know why I've got everything but what I want.
You make me feel good, Den. I thought I was the most computer illiterate guy in the world.
No,
that's me.
Yeah,
I resemble that remark.
Yeah.
I claim that spot.
I'm just going to shut this window down completely. Right.
Don't shut Zoom.
Okay. So that's got there. I'll share screen. I'll share screen in a minute, but it doesn't work.
There you go. Share the screen.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm not getting the thing that I want. Oh, here we go. Yep, I see it now. It was so small. Okay. That doesn't appear too exciting when you just look at it, a Batmobile rear axle assembly.
Yeah.
But one of my local dealers had these on sale for $4 a piece to get the stock out. And I bought 3 initially, and then I went back when I found out what I could do with these. I went back and bought his remaining 8 that he had in stock. And for $4, you actually get 4 tires, a couple of nylon scale electric bearings, which you could just about buy nowhere these days, a very narrow axle, of course, and the contrate or the crown gear. When you true them up, you get a nice tire looking like this, which is going to be underneath the yellow and blue Skyliner that I just showed. Now, I took a set of these down to Phil when I was down there taking my brother to Hobart a couple of weeks ago. He ran a set of these tires and actually won the first round of the historic NASCAR class on Tuesday night. So the tires work all right. So, for $4 a set, and you get 4 tires and goodness knows what else. And so that was pretty good value. And that's why I decided I'd buy up the rest of them, because buying tires at less than $1 a piece is pretty good. I almost felt like Brian, getting a steal, for virtually $0. Chris might also notice there that I've got the single flange bearings on the inside of the mountings, just so that I can get the rear track a little bit narrower to get the wheels under the body. And I think that's about it anyway. So,
but now you've deprived all those Batman Tumbler owning people from getting spares.
yeah. Well, they know where I am if they want to make it
$8 a pair.
You snooze, you lose, man.
I've cornered the market in Australia. Okay, I'll stop the share there, and away someone else can head off. And
all right. So the story about Tom Pistone. He was a pretty successful NASCAR driver, and when he retired, at some point, he and his daughter Chrissy bought out all of the remaining stock from Auto World, which was one of the manufacturers, and they sold Auto World stuff and a lot of Atlas stuff on eBay for years and years and years. And every time you ever bought anything from them that was on eBay, when they sent it to you, they sent a little card with a picture of one of his cars and his signature on it. I came across a couple of them yesterday when I was tidying some stuff out here. The nicest people that you could come across. And Tom died some years back, and his daughter carried on with this whole selling of the stuff. But I haven't seen any of their eBay auctions now for a couple of years, I guess. But yeah, for a long time, if you wanted Atlas parts or Auto World parts, and they would sell the whole motor, and they had some of the spare parts for the Atlas motors, the 8206s and the 8406s, and they had all the little brushes with the little springs and everything, and they had the Auto World brass piece that bolted onto the front to make up chassis, and you could get it all from them at really good prices, and then always get a little baseball card of Tom Pistone's cars.
That's cool. A little bit of history. It's always fun to learn.
Yeah. Oh, no, thanks for that, Dennis. Yeah.
Paul, are you ready to give it another try?
Yeah.
Take it away.
Right. Screen share. Yeah.
You can do it. You can do it.
Don't distract him.
No, I can't, because it's.
Go, Paul. Go.
Is that
Do you have any children at home that may be able to
after you click share screen, you get a window that pops up where you click what you want to share, and then after you click what you want to share, there's another button at the bottom where you actually start the share of that thing.
Or you could just double click the thing.
Oh yeah, didn't know that. Cool, good to know.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a button.
Nothing. I got absolutely nothing.
Neither do we.
Now, yeah, it's all ready to go on my
I think you have to put your 3D printer on first.
Yeah, you gotta go.
On my Google Photos, it's image show and tell.
There's just part of that process you're missing. I don't know why. I mean, if you got your photos open in your browser, then when you come back to Zoom, you click the share screen, little green button down there. Should pop up a window with all the different programs you're running, and you can choose Chrome.
It's got entire screen, window.
Just click entire screen, or double click entire screen.
Or be here all night.
If you click it and it's highlighted, then click the share button down on the bottom right corner, or click it twice.
No. All right, forget it.
All right, we'll forget it. But we'll practice some more after the recording.
Oh.
Okay, Henry, go ahead. Are you ready? It's your turn.
We're here. On mute. Okay, everybody knows this one, this small thing, what you can do with it.
Oh, just a riser?
Yeah, that's just like a little car stand.
Yeah.
A riser.
But because I have now about 4 printers working, I thought, what can I do more with it? And you can personalize it by making it like this.
Oh yeah, put the car name on it. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I sold 250 this weekend.
Wow.
It's quite simple.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you can also do something now with how do you call it?
Logos.
Multicolor.
Yeah, it's not multicolor, but it's an
It's a logo.
logo. Yeah, a logo. So I went on because it's the first time I'm printing with logos. So I went on with this one for Slotted.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh
wow!
It's not nice to have because all your fingers are gonna fall in, all your
Yeah.
screws. Yeah, so but it's a disaster, but it's also an example. This one I made that you can put them in your Polly Butler.
Mhm.
And I personalized it also with the name of the driver.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
I can assure you that's what I want.
You can see my name on one of those, Henry.
I didn't see him. No, not yet.
You've got until February, my friend.
Okay. And this is one for the Polly Butler for your suitcase, and this is the one for at home with the logo of H&B. Yes, I sold 20 of those this weekend. So stupid things, but when you personalize something, people want to have it.
Yep. Yeah. That's a great idea.
That's the learning for me. I got try to share something, share screen.
Yep.
And it is this one, and then I say share. I just heard.
Look at that, Paul. Not so hard.
Does it work?
Yep, we're looking at the video.
It's working.
What was
Yeah,
this?
it's working. Polycars.
Slot racing to go.
Not only is Polycar. It was for cars before 1980.
Oh.
Formula
Okay.
One cars. And I've got something new. So maybe you know it already, or it's still a secret.
Is that the new slotted, new Polycar? Oh yeah.
126C2.
The 126C1. Mm-hmm.
Correct. And who was the driver?
It was Didier Pironi and Gilles Villeneuve.
Yeah.
I think you're correct.
Yeah, I was the car that Gilles perished in.
They say over there it was Nicky, but I don't
No,
know.
no,
No,
it's not
Gilles.
Nicky. After Nicky.
I thought also it was Villeneuve.
Yeah,
This is a
that's-
Sidewinder. The green one was a Sidewinder.
Wow.
That's one of those weird angle winder things with the extra reduction gears inside it,
Oh, okay.
I guess. New Polycar track.
Yeah, I noticed it was Polycar.
That looks good. Wow. I love that dip underneath rather than a flyover.
Yeah, at the end you're going to be launched.
To me, that's always been a cool feature if you get a track that has a kind of a dip rather than a rise.
Yeah.
What degree of angle can you move Polycar track? Isn't like Scale Electric's like 10 degrees, maybe 10 or 15?
It's
Do you
not
need
very
to-
much because it's a very
it-
stiff
some,
track.
Some of
Yeah.
those transitions there look kind of chunky when you.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Polycar track's is actually quite stiff.
Yes.
At least as stiff as Carrera.
It's as stiff as Carrera?
I think so.
It's the same. It's styrene, same stuff. Basically the same stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
On our Polycar track, we have about a 10-foot straight to rise 4 inches and go back down 4 inches, and that's about as short as we could make it without getting any drastic kinks and stuff like that.
Oh, this is nice. Cool. Looks like a really nice little store and raceway there.
Yeah.
Very nice. Henry, whereabouts is this?
Sorry?
Where in Holland was that store?
In the top of Holland, it's called Friesland. So the famous Afsluitdijk, and at the end of it.
Okay.
It's a 1.5 drive from Amsterdam.
I'll have to get onto Google Maps and have a look. See.
Place is called Whit Morrison, and the slot car you can find them slot racing to go.
Yeah, nice.
Can you please stop sharing?
Yep.
Or
Henry, has Slot Racing to Go got 2 polycar track?
Sorry.
Has Slot Racing to Go got another polycar track in the store?
No.
Just one big one.
I thought I'd seen a different layout in the video earlier this year.
Oh, he changed sometimes, yeah, but not a lot. The last news I heard, he was the owner is Goose. He was this week to Italy, to Mauricio. The next news is that he's gonna launch in March or April, but you never know, the digital crossings.
That'd be nice.
Let's hope.
Yeah, cross your fingers.
Yeah.
A really quick picture for all the Tiger Tom Pistone stories here.
Nice.
That was Atlas made 2 cars. This is the Cooper, and they also had a BRM. I did not get one of the BRMs, but I got several of the Coopers. So, and they, as Dennis said, they had thousands of these things, and they were selling them. I can't remember how inexpensive they were, but ridiculously inexpensive.
Nice.
Well,
the polycar this weekend. Well, not the winners. They had flies F1s with the Shapeway chassis. Yeah, they were wonderful. So I didn't have a chance this weekend, but we had a lovely day.
Right.
And Henry, how does polycar track? How does polycar track measure up against Ninko track?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've tried. I've driven with NSR Super Grips, and I've tried them at the club on wood. There they are terrible. At our club. On the Ninko, on the Carrera track, they do okay. And I have another on the Carrera track. I've got another Ninko track downstairs, and they did wonderful over there. And it was the same behavior, almost the same behavior as polycar.
Okay, so very close between polycar and Ninko.
Yeah, it's more. You can get more dust on it.
With the polycar or with the Ninko?
Yeah, the polycar.
So the polycar is slightly more.
It's a little bit less rigid.
Okay.
Are you saying it's a little more tolerant of the dust that gets on there than Ninko? It won't make much difference, the dust, or you can make more marbles with it.
No, the dust is only the first 10 minutes, of course. Then you drive it off.
Okay.
And by Ninko, it's less, I think.
Okay. So
I got to go. I'll see you next week.
All right, thanks for coming.
Before you leave, since there's quite a few football fans on here, and the World Cup's coming up,
yeah.
Why don't we have a little, maybe next week? Think about it. We should have a little contest somehow to predict who's going to win the World Cup, and we should have some sort of a little prize or something.
Okay.
Yeah, there can only be one winner. That are the Dutch.
Yeah, as I say, Holland or France. Being in it, because that was half of the Arsenal squad, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Win, will ya?
I tell you, saying you guys struggle to beat Brazil this year.
And the reason
anyway,
I
got to go watch Tottenham. I'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
That's going to be a really boring game, Dennis. I wouldn't bother.
No, I wouldn't bother. Yeah, all right. Okay. I'll let you know next week, Paul.
Yeah, you're going to lose.
All boring.
Probably, yeah. Probably. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Emily, how are you getting on with the wheel balancer?
Still in progress. I'm waiting for microscopic glass, the glasses for the microscope. And I'm looking for different sizes of magnets for the balancing. So it's in progress.
Have you worked out a price for right now? Or?
Yeah. Tony has a pre-order in on you for that.
Oh, that's correct. Thank you, Tony.
I think Dennis just volunteered to provide the prize, didn't he, for the football thing?
No, that was Chris.
No, I didn't. Hey, whoa, guys! I said we should have a prize.
Well, listen,
I thought I heard Chris as well.
I think John should do a little person on the cup like that. Well, you know what? I'll contribute the amphetamines that you'll need to stay awake to watch the thing. How about that?
There you go.
I think the first shadow coming off the production line would be a good prize, Chris.
Ooh, yeah, talk to Ernie.
Well, that wouldn't. Yeah, I could probably do something there.
Oh yeah, nice shadow.
Or the one of the new Ferraris. The Ferraris are on the. They're being delivered as we speak.
To you or to the dealers?
Sorry?
To you or to the dealers?
Well, they're coming over to Canada now, and then they'll be distributed from there. And then all 3 liveries are coming at the same time.
Okay. So you're getting a Sunoco one already?
Sorry?
Is that the Sunoco livery you're getting as well?
No. No, we're not doing that. We're doing, there's the Olive Garden, there's the Momo, and for the life of me, my mind's going, I can't remember the third.
Which Ferrari?
Is there a white one?
333 SP.
Is there a white one?
Sorry?
Is there a white one?
Not yet. Maybe. I suspect it will be a better performing, well, I'm quite sure it'll be a better performing car than the Shadow. The Shadow is designed much more to, the Shadow will sell well because it's a Shadow. But it was designed much more to scale. There's a little more poetic license a la Thunderslot and the rest of the guys with the Ferrari, although it looks very good, but it's just a little bit wider, has a little bit longer guide lead and a few other things. So, but the Shadow will be a great car. It looks gorgeous.
I think the other livery is the
especially in blue and yellow.
I think the other livery is the yellow ATEC one.
Can I have one in blue and yellow?
No, me first. All right. Well, we'll look forward to hearing what Ernie says about providing something from that as a prize for the footballer.
I'll mention that tomorrow.
Yeah, but what? I mean, so I support Holland and France. So what happens there?
Yeah, somebody will also have to come up with
You
the
get 2 choices.
No, you get 1 choice.
This ain't my giveaway. We'll talk about that next week.
Okay,
I'm going to do my show and tell real quick so we can get that out of the way. Of course, what do I show and tell? Anything other than blue and yellow? Never. So it's blue and yellow car. Picked up the Revo Slot Martini, this guy. And of course, had to take lots of glamour shots. Very pretty car. And
How's it run?
My track is still an absolute mess, so I still haven't. I literally picked them up yesterday, so I haven't put it on a track yet. For whatever reason, this the Supra here, the back axle has way too much play in it, so I gotta move one of the wheels and tighten that up. But for anybody who's never seen the chassis of a Revo Slot, that's your typical Revo Slot chassis. And then I got this guy, small, tiny little thing, but still 130.
Love that thing.
That's gorgeous.
And because it's so small, they had to do some different things with the chassis. Does anybody know what these holes are for? Is that like a different body mounting option or something? Or
No.
What is it?
It's they made it for a different car.
It's the same plate they use on a different.
Oh,
model.
okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay.
Why do you think you lost 2 screws?
How's your gear mesh on that?
These both, well, I just ran them on batteries, so it's hard to say for sure, without them running on a track. This one ran pretty good. The other one ran okay, but like I said, the rear axle was loose, so it's not, the gear was moving.
Isn't this the car that's come with the wrong pinion on it?
No, it's the Escort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
I
yeah,
actually was gonna form a question on that since you got Revos out already. On the Escort, they wanted you to change to a 9-tooth pinion. I had a 6.5 millimeter slotted pinion that I put on there, but I'm wondering if the mesh on the gear is compromised because of what Chris was talking about earlier. Chris and Dennis were talking about earlier with the different pinions. Is that true?
Both of those manufacturers use 0.5 module mesh or pitch, if you will. It's not really pitch, but
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it will not be. That's not the case.
Okay, so they would be compatible.
Yeah, all of any pinion you buy from NSR, Scale Auto, Slot-It, blah blah blah, they all work with anyone's crown gears or anyone's spur gears. They're all
Okay.
0.5 module. Now,
Because the Revo Slot spur gears are just awful.
The
Well,
first thing I do them with the plastic pinions.
sorry,
I always give them.
Henry does them with plastic pinions, you said?
Yeah, by Revo slots I do always plastic pinions. Makes them a lot of less noise.
well,
That's my opinion.
That's what they do.
Are you talking plastic or nylon? Difference. There's a
The-
difference.
I'm gonna look.
I personally can't figure out why anyone would run a plastic or a nylon pinion, but that's beside the point.
Scalextrics.
I mean,
Well,
he
it's
knows
because
people
they're
that do
quieter,
it.
maybe.
Right, they're cheap.
Given the choice.
Well, my question is, I guess, is there any 3mm axle spur gear that would be a better quality than the Revo Slot ones?
You can look for the ones from Playfit or Sigma.
Oh, okay.
You're not going to find those here. You're going to have to go maybe to Pendle, or you're going to have to go to Crick Crack or one of the European dealers. You're not going to find much 3mm stuff here.
Okay.
What problem are you having with the spur gears?
They're out of round. I mean, the getting the mesh decent is just a misery.
I've only had one, but I didn't have that problem after I broke it in.
Well, yeah. I mean, some are round, some are not.
Yeah. I've got the same thing happen. My Alpha is absolutely quiet and smooth, perfect, right? But the Escort is just shite.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's production tolerance. I would expect, Michael, and I would say that the nylon thing. I think, Chris, try and pick an answer out for you is that nylon has a self-lubricating property, doesn't it? And I think that might benefit sometimes.
Well, I don't like nylon pinions because the bore is soft, and invariably, if you don't put them on perfectly squarely, they have run out.
Yeah.
There's nothing redeeming about a nylon pinion. Nothing. If you use a steel, similarly, most top end racers will use steel pinions. Steel pinions have a harder bore. They go on truer. The machines they cut gears with cut steel. Steel cuts much more precisely and more accurately than brass. Steel has a lower coefficient of friction than brass. And if you have well-made gears and you set them up well, there is no noise issues whatsoever. Once you get into non-concentric gears or gears with a run out, you get all kinds of issues.
Mike, did you have your hand up for that question, or did you want to do a?
Yes, that's what I have another one actually along with
Wait a minute. Hey, Mike, there's 3mm gears at Professor Motors. Scale Auto makes them as well.
Okay, good.
Oh, Scale Auto does?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'll consider that.
Yeah, and that's the same thing, Mike. That's a 0.5 module, and they're a much better manufactured. They're much more precise and consistent than the.
Okay.
Are the Scale Auto 3mm axles in their 24 scale cars?
Yes.
Yes. I have one.
Does that mean the gears won't be a suitable diameter and tooth count for 32 scale, perhaps?
They possibly, but they also have some leftover stock from the Playfit gears in there too.
Yeah.
They make what? They make 1/24 3mm crown gears though, because that was spur. I'm trying to think what cars they put an inline in. I guess it doesn't matter because the cars you're putting them in is a sidewinder or angle winder anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter.
They do the original BRMs, the old Porsche 956 and 962s were all inline.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for gears for those, you might find some, and you're looking for a brand name called Sigma.
The other people who made 3mm gears were that that weird Scale Extric Sport series they had out for a while.
Yeah.
Remember we debated about those ones with the removable hubs many moons ago?
The worst possible manufacturing of anything ever.
Yeah. Anyway, they do make them. I don't know. I haven't used any. Incidentally, I am running a Playfit gear on the back of one of my Revo slot Ferrari 333s. So they go all right. But we have a distributor of Playfit up in Brisbane, up in Queensland. So maybe someone in the States does it. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And is it more? Is it easier to just switch a gear for you, Mike, or what does it take to switch the rear axle to 332?
Well, I could do that, but I've got to buy a new gear because it's a 24 tooth anyway.
Right.
So might as well get one that fits and not junk the whole system. The other question that I've got, Chris, in making a scratch built rear end for the brass that contains and mounts the motor to the rear axle assembly.
Yeah.
The U-shaped bracket that fits on the motor. Which are the best ones for doing that?
And this is for a 32nd scale car?
Yeah, for 32nd. What I'm doing is I'm converting some of my old Carrera cars.
Okay. Go to the PCH slot parts website.
Yeah.
Look under and you can buy a 3/4 inch wide bracket from either JK or RGO, and you can get them either offset or non-offset. And those are going to be as good as you're going to get right now.
You can only do a 0.5 offset max, or you have to get offset gears, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is that correct that you can do a 0.5?
Yep.
Okay.
You can use straight cut gears on. You can also, well, if you use a beveled pinion, you can always go to a 1 mil. All the retro guys use ARP beveled pinions with straight cut Mid-America gears, and they work perfectly. But if you just use a slotted gear and an offset, if you want to go to an offset pod, or an offset motor bracket, you're fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I just with these things, it's an experiment, and and it's for me, it's KISS. Yep. You know what I mean? Okay.
And one thing for Greg, and for everybody, any lateral axle movement side play in an angle winder is absolutely disastrous, because if you're running a sidewinder, rear axle play is not that much of an issue, because the spur gear runs along the face of the pinion and really doesn't do too much. But on an angle winder, as the spur gear moves in towards the chassis, you increase the lash. And when you move the spur gear away from the chassis, you reduce the lash. And that can bugger up your gears in nanoseconds. So you've really got to stabilize the lateral movement on the rear axle.
Yep, for sure. That's why I didn't even put that around the track.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're not. Yeah.
Yeah, I will figure that out. But Paul has figured out it's easiest to just go ahead and send pictures to me. So I'm going to share my screen of Paul's pictures, and it is a whole lot of pictures. So Paul, give me some guidance on what you want to share, because we have basically the entire track build history, it looks like.
Just show them whatever you want.
Oh, okay. I'll just scroll through here.
That's how it started when I got it. and it's just a build up of how it goes. That's in my garage at the bottom of my garden.
I'll just kind of scroll through it slowly. If anybody sees anything they want me to focus on, just say, hey, stop, go back. Got some nice looking
There's
wiring
no
there.
blue and yellow cars, I don't think.
Is this taped or oh, it's taped? Okay.
Yeah, it's taped.
Okay.
That's how it started in the 80s. It's
Yeah.
never been changed. It's
Oh,
shorter.
there's tons of tracks that have been around for decades with still using tape.
The same, the same tape, or was the tape replaced?
Yeah,
it's copy tape.
That's what Luff usually uses, doesn't he, for his tracks?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he usually uses the thinner stuff. I'm imagining the stuff that has lasted this long is the thicker stuff that Chris has talked about
It
before.
is thick. It's about
There's guys with, especially in England, a lot of the BSCRA tracks are taped, and they've been taped for God, I can't tell you how long, and they still work great.
that was an Echo track that was built in 87. I raced on it right up to the early 90s, and then it went from Margate to Swindon to Dudley, then Dudley to my garage.
I must say, Paul, I'm not seeing a lot of blue and yellow here.
He's got those stored in a special place.
I just kept photographs of the track. I didn't particularly.
Well, Paul, you've done a lot of work to it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that covers the timing beam for the TrackMate system.
That's nice. I like
That's
that.
out of Bolts wooden coffee stirrers, believe it or not.
That looks great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But the roof, I got rid of that roof. I built another roof because I wanted lights in it.
What is this?
That's where all the TrackMate systems kept. That reminds me, I asked my cabinet maker to make me an old school desk. And that comes from Australia, that little pot.
That's awesome. Hey, there's some
one. There's one.
Blue and yellow, blue and yellow.
Very cool.
Now, what did you do for the path, Paul? What's the stone made of?
It's an old tractor tread. It was off of I think it's Britain's, and I just chopped. It was a farm lane in Britain's. I chopped it, and I've done it as an old track bed for a narrow gauge railway.
Oh yeah.
In between the two sections, that was like a hole. That's the new roof for the timing system.
So is this up and running, Paul?
Yeah, it's all up and running. I had my granddaughters up there today.
Nice.
Very cool.
And a lot of work.
Oh, there's the light. So, those lights look awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Every single building is going to have lights. All the pit lane's going to be done. That's
and
what my wife thought.
Nothing is printed.
Sorry?
And nothing is printed.
No.
It's
all hand built. It's all hand built.
There's a yet there.
It's all old school analog, man.
How big is the track, Paul?
125 foot.
Oh, looks great. That looks great.
What's the
I
footprint?
drilled all those. That's all Boltswood fence posts drilled.
There we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
We'll just leave it here. We don't need to keep going.
Oh, just leave it there.
So what's the footprint on the track, Paul?
125 foot.
No, the footprint.
How
long and wide is it?
It's about, the garage is 25 foot by 22 foot. So it's about 18 foot wide by about 20 foot long.
Beautiful.
How did you do the wiring from the fences?
It's fishing wire. It's all
okay.
It's just drilled holes with fishing wire going through them.
Nice.
Is it nylon fishing line?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Not plastic.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah, the fishing line looks good. It looks like real metal from here.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, very nice.
Although you've got an underpass just like that polysteel track or the polysteel track. Look at that.
I think the underpass is the new thing where everybody's gonna be copying.
Oh yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
What are the Carlingtons doing there?
Holding the gluing it down. There were weight to hold it. And the SPVs.
I get you.
I didn't know empty cans were that heavy.
No, they were full. That was coming up to, I think it's Christmas time. I was nicking all the Christmas stock and sticking it down on there.
Okay, so this is to hold your little landscaping section down?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's enormous.
Yeah.
And when you're ready to take them up, you just start drinking them.
Yeah.
Well, Paul, when I get better, I'm going to take a visit down to
Oh, nice.
That's that was horrible doll's house wallpaper, and you'll see later on. I covered it up.
Oh.
Put a toilet over there.
That's 15 foot long. That fence.
Wow.
That's 3 sections.
What sort of tires do you run mostly, Paul?
Rubber.
Okay.
Love us special right now. All right. You got it.
Juan, your mic is on.
Sorry.
I'm hoping there's a nighttime picture with that lit up somewhere, Paul.
No, not yet.
Aw. Ooh.
That's the control tower started doing.
Oh, I think I remember you showing that.
Oh yeah, that's the Skeletrix one you were working on, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my pain in the ass. That's the one who breaks all my cars.
This one here.
Yeah.
Put another car on, Daddy.
No, it's Granddad.
Oh yeah, Granddad. Sorry, my bad.
No, but it looks like she's having fun though.
Now
That's
this
awesome.
this is where I was covering up the doll's house wallpaper.
Oh, okay, so now this has actual texture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh man, that
There's the
that
old
does
stuff
look.
on
It looks a lot
That
better.
looks amazing.
Yeah.
That's just that. Then I went over it with a green wash, and all those laying down is what you can see there. It's all the pillars on all the joins.
Oh
Then
yeah.
I green washed it.
Paul, how long
It's
did
a,
it take you
so
to
it's an
build
ex-club track, been given a 4th life, isn't it?
Yeah.
How long did it take you to build it, Paul?
Still working
Well,
on
the
it.
track was already built.
Yeah, but everything else, how long have you been doing it?
5 years. That's the green wash I put on it, and then
5
I put all the
years?
foliage
Oh,
on.
nice.
Oh,
when
hey,
you're going to be all complete.
do you run those juniors much?
Yeah, they're a nightmare. Absolute
Ah.
nightmare.
I had those as a child.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of those. There was let me dig around. I've got some motor brushes that were remade that just transformed the cars.
And that's the last piece I've done so far. That bit there. But it goes all underneath. That wall actually goes right underneath that side, the overhang. And I know people won't see it, but I will. As you can see underneath there, that goes right through underneath. But
Oh right, yeah.
Trying to find a picture of. You need to get a picture down low so you can actually see it going under.
yeah.
That's great job, Paul.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I'm surprised you can't make better looking blue and yellow slot cars after seeing that.
My screen's frozen. I don't know what I've done now.
We can still see you though. That's okay.
That's
And
all
you're
right.
still
Then.
moving.
But no, it's been a labour of love. I must admit, it has been a labour of love. it's I get most of it because my dad he builds model railways, and all the detail and stuff like that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost him.
Well, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Just breathe in some water. All right, Dewan, you got your hand up. What would you like to talk about?
That's for club. I kind of pushed it a little premature.
No problem.
Sorry.
Time for Club Corner. Everybody raise your hand if you want to do a Club Corner related thing. Dewan has his hand up first. Go ahead, Dewan.
All right, I was trying to now figure out how to flip my screen around. I thought I saw it a minute ago, and now it just switched. Now I just lost it. But anyway, okay, I guess I just have to flip the thing around again. Well, let me give you a preamble. This weekend, I'm going to be hosting a big epic event at my house. I'm the chair of an alumni association for my high school. It's actually my class, but I'm going to have about 50 to 60 people over. And we're going to have a lot of things going on, which includes my slot car stuff. And what I'm kind of looking for is some guidance on some best or suggestions on best practices for conducting some type of a really friendly competition that leads to a prize. You know, I want to give away something as part of the whole thing. I'm guessing it's probably going to be about between 20 to maybe 30 participants or something like that. And I have, I can get to showing you what I'm working with. You can try to guess give me some suggestions. Let me see if I can turn over to I have to flip my whole phone around. I can't remember how to turn let me see if I can do it one more time. I know I saw it up there once. No, I don't see it. Well, anyway, let me just go ahead and turn the thing around. These are some of the cars. I don't know if you can. So I'm going to have essentially 4 of everything. I have 3 minis there, but I have a 4th one that's coming. I have 2 McLarens coming. The other ones, I don't have anything to match up with my GT40s yet. And then I have my trucks right here is another matchup. I have to have 4 of the same types of cars, competition. And then I have another, oh boy, I have 4 vans, and I do have 4 of the Pioneers. And then I have my, over there, it's kind of hard to get to it. Those are my little TV cars. So that's the things I'm working with. I'm trying to come up with a creative way of, doing some type of competition for amongst the guests that'll be here. I'll have a race coordinator that's kind of doing everything as well, but I'm open for suggestions.
You need some sturdy cars and you need some backups.
Yeah.
I would use points in race coordinator, and then you can give bonus points for like fastest lap in the red lane, fastest lap. And this way you can give out more small prizes if you want, instead of just one, overall winner.
Points. Okay. I wasn't familiar with that. Okay.
Look on race coordinator for points.
Okay.
I was gonna say, is that the program you're using, is race coordinator?
I have race coordinator. I also have TrackMate, but race coordinator is my preference because I have pre-programmed all their names in there. And
perfect. Yeah, Jeremy's got a lot of experience with race coordinator, so I would listen to him.
Sorry about that. I pulled the wire out.
Classic.
And also, then in race coordinator, when you're doing points, like a bonus point for the fastest lap in yellow lane, you can specify each person only gets 1 bonus. Like they can only win 1 bonus. So you don't have to worry about the same person winning fastest lap in every, you'll get a more diverse crowd.
Okay. What about basic format? Because I don't know what I typically do for most of our races. We just have it narrowed down to just 4 people. We do the round robin, and the one that's the most number of laps total be the winner. And we also move the cars to after each what would it be considered? Each running through one lane, we take the car. You keep your car. You would go from one lane to another lane, and you move the position of the car where you left off from the previous.
Right. that becomes kind of confusing for new people.
Yeah,
What I found that works for my parties is that I have the race set up for like 10 laps, and everybody gets to finish the lap they're on. This way, all the cars come back around to the start lane. But I have relays that turn the lanes off once you complete 10 laps. So where you start, you always go wind up and get your car at the end right there too. So you don't got to walk around the track and get it, and because that kind of slows things down too.
Timed race is it fastest?
Just either timed or just 10 laps or 1 minute or 2 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a 10-lap heat race. And the winner gets 4 points and 3 points
Yeah.
and so on. It makes, for that type of racing, it makes it a lot easier and quicker.
Wow.
Might not be a bad idea to leave the cars on the lanes.
Yeah.
And have the drivers move through the lanes. That way, each driver drives each of the 4 cars, which will equalize things out a lot more than one guy having the best car and moving through.
And then if you have the red car on the red lane, there's no confusion in case you
Right.
step away for a drink or something. They can go blue car, blue lane.
Yeah, we do
It's
that
sort of
all
like
the time.
an
And,
IROC event. So the cars stay on the lane, the drivers move, you get points. So there's no, you have to mark your spot or anything like that. Everybody comes back to the line after every heat.
Yeah.
Much easier. Well, that's the way we do the HO freight racing anyway, but it's much easier for what you're gonna do, I think.
Yeah.
And probably more fun because every heat is a race. And, oh, I won that heat as opposed, well, I got more laps than the other guy in the heat. I won the heat.
Yeah, you make a good point. When you have a heat race like that for 10 laps, you can say, oh, I beat you. But if you're racing for, 5 minutes and you have to look on the grid and say, well, I'm currently in, 8th place, I got to make up 6 laps. Nobody gets that kind of racing, but they definitely get heat racing. It's
And a
easily
heat race
understood.
too, with, if even 5 laps can go very quickly. So everybody gets to move around the track quicker
Oh,
when
yeah.
you've got 50 or 60. If you've got even 1 or 2 minutes of lane, that takes a long time to go through.
That's true.
And it easily shows the best driver because you always have to adapt to the new car.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
Wow,
nice.
this is all great information. I tell you.
I mean, if you want to do a real simple thing, you've got a 4-lane track, right?
4 lanes, yes.
So for each heat, you could have 4 points through, like 4, 3, 2, 1 points. You win a heat, you get 4 points. Second, blah 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 blah. At the end of everybody is run 4. So the winner, if you won on all 4 heats, you're going to get 16 points, and backwards from there. Real simple, really easy to keep track of, and fair for everybody.
So it sounds like you got race directors for hire there, Dwan. I'm not that far from Vegas.
How would you combine with you, because there's going to be like I said, about 30 or so racers. So just wondered, because isn't it relative to the 4 people that are racing that race?
It is, yes. If you run all 50 through with the same cars, then you could have 5 people that have 16 points.
Right.
Right. But you can set tiebreakers in race coordinating.
Fastest lap, or whatever.
Or average lap or whatever.
Yeah.
And if you do laps plus points, then there's less ties.
Yeah.
The other thing you could do is take, if let's say you just for grins, you've got 40 people. So you have your mini race would be 4 people and they run amongst themselves. So they run 4 heats and the winner moves on. So it'd be like an elimination. And the next 4 guys run the trucks. And so not everybody's going to run every car because you don't have enough time to do that. I'm assuming. And then the next 4 guys and the winner of each race moves on, and it's kind of elimination till you get to the end.
Okay.
And the loser has to take a shot.
No, the winner has to take a shot.
Oh, the winner has to take a shot. Even better. There you go.
Yeah, there's lots of options. Think about how you're going to deal with crashing. Is it going to be crash and burn? Are you going to have enough people marshaling the track to put them on quickly?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I would definitely do like crash and learn with new people, because it's just going to be a disaster.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that when I did a party for adults a few years ago, I was planning to do a whole, round robin IROC type rotation like the guys are talking about. But for whatever reason, my lap counter decided to go poof on one of the lanes. So couldn't get it working at, day of. So I'm like, okay, well, what do we do? So at that point, we basically did a last man standing elimination, kind of like what Chris was saying, except for crash and burn rather than, you know, who finishes first. So in this case, it was 6 people because it was digital. It was 6 people racing, you know, until one of them crashed, until there was only one left on the track. And then he moved up to the next, you know, and then we did that because it was about, I think it was about 30, you know, somewhere between 25 and 30 people participated in that. And so it was basically 6 people, 6 people, 6 people, you know, and then the winners and the winners, and then you know, basically, and then we ended up with the last 3 people. But, you know, that was crash and burn. So when they crashed, I was moving the car off of the track rather than putting it back on, because in my experience, unless the people are, you know, experienced, you're going to be doing nothing but putting cars back on the whole time.
The other thing, Greg's a good point, is maybe turn the voltage down so the cars, you still have to drive them, but they're not going to come off on every turn.
Yeah, just on the turn at the end of the longest straight or the tightest turn or whatever. So you've only got 2, maybe 1 or 2 marshalling points where they're going to be picking up the cars all the time, rather than every single turn on the track if you have the voltage up higher. So yeah.
Juan, if you reach out to me in an email, I'll go through the settings and kind of show you the point system and how it works. So just shoot me an email.
All right. Really appreciate that.
No shortage of ideas. The hard part for you is going to be figuring out which of the many ideas you want to actually implement.
Well, we're gonna have
if he sends us all tickets, we can all come and we can fight over how we're going to run the race.
Yeah. No.
This is the future home of the Las Vegas Open, right?
Yeah, it's a warm up for that. Yes.
Nice. It's a warm up.
And don't forget photos, Dewan, if you can, because we want to see how it went.
Okay.
Well, you could hire a photographer. I'm not sure if there's anybody around that would be willing to do that this weekend, but you could hire somebody.
I mean, I might know a guy, you know.
Jim's really wanting to go to Vegas.
We're expecting that same party for the Worldwide Slot Car Chat the weekend of the Formula One race next year.
I was going to say, Jim, that's a different kind of vintage race, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
I've been actually had my arm twisted into doing a 6-hour race next year on my track. So it's going to be NSR Classic, so you can't go wrong with him.
No. What time of year are you going to host that?
Don't know yet. It's between. I'm liaising with Steve Hills at True Speed. I mean, because he come up, he's the one who keeps on twisting me arm.
So make him do some of the work. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's got a big race season coming on the beginning of the year. So it's going to be probably April time. Fingers crossed. So I've just thought saying I'm in the Dominican next week, right? And I ain't gonna have no decent what's the name. So if we're doing this football thing, I'll put my name down now for France, because there's no way on God's earth I'm going to be able to get any connection from the Dominican.
We'll put it in the chat so it's official. All right, everybody, throw your team selections for the World Cup into the chat so that we have an official record. Because Paul's already claimed France, so you know now's your chance to claim before somebody else claims some other country that you wanted.
I claim Ambien.
Yeah, I'm away for 2 weeks, unfortunately.
If you have that race at the right time, I might actually be able to attend, because I'm planning to be in the UK at the later half of April. So we'll.
Wow, that'll be well. You're more than welcome, mate.
Well, you'll have to actually come up with the dates.
I only live in the, you know, if you look at the UK, you've got the bit down the bottom that looks like a foot.
I'm gonna be in Worthing on the 24th, but we're gonna be spending a couple of weeks in northeastern or northwestern Europe, so France and the UK and stuff like that. So
nice.
Nail down a date, and I might actually be able to come.
Yeah, all right. I'll keep you informed.
Okay.
Hey, Ray here. I had
right, too many people. I heard Ray's voice. Go ahead, Mr. Carthy.
Yeah, I just wanted to add one thing for Dewan. If you're going to have your guest marshalling, you're going to need to have a tutorial right at the beginning on how to put a car back on the track. Otherwise, it'll be chaos. The first time they have to put a car on and drag it backwards, or can't get in the slot. So just keep that in mind.
That is a fantastic reminder. Thanks, Ray.
If it's any help, when I had like actual race car drivers at our place doing it, we had crash and burn because I knew these guys. There's no way they're touching the cars.
And there's no way that if they're going to drive it off the corner, they're not getting multiple chances to keep driving it off of multiple corners.
Yeah, and I said, there's no 132nd scale crane to put you back on, boys. If you're off, you're off.
I find that granddaughters are very, very cheap labor.
Yeah, give them a 1 lap warm up and a crash and burn.
There you go. All right, so Mike, get his hand. Dewan, are you all questioned out? Okay, you're ready. Put your hand down. I'll take care of that. Mike, go ahead.
I was going to do Club Corner if.
Yeah, we're Club Corner time.
What's that?
We are Club Corner time.
Okay. I raced on Monday and my BMW was victorious as an inline against a angle winder Revo slot. So I was really happy with the way my home built chassis turned out. And it was close. It was very close. And it was my slower Revo slot car. But I was victorious, and an 18,000 RPM motor instead of a 21, which is in the Revo slots. So that was a double bonus. The thing is still really tippy though. So, and I've got a fair amount of weight in it, but it was great fun. We had a really good races.
Now,
So,
I don't know, my meds may be wearing off, but I'm feeling more and more people converting to soldering stuff.
You mean soldering?
Right. Yeah, yeah.
Soldering, yes. We're soldering on.
Love seeing it, you know? Not
Yeah,
me.
well, like I said, I'm gonna convert I've got a bunch of 50s, like the Maserati and a Jaguar D-Type for those that are Carrera and are garbage. I mean, they've got floppy wheels and stuff like that. I'm going to convert all of them to brass chassis and see how it goes that way.
Well,
So it's interesting to have a brass chassis with a digital chip in it.
Right. The other thing too, Michael, is even if you got proper wheels for a lot of those cars, they'll run like 300 times better with a plastic chassis. Just putting round wheels on them makes a huge difference.
Yeah, well, I've
Straight
tried
axles
that.
and round gears and
Yeah. Well, there's so much slop in these things that they're just ridiculous, and they were all used as magnet cars before. So now it's time to get serious. So
yeah, time for real racing.
well, I mean, you don't have to worry too much about the chassis when you're magnet racing because it's glued down.
Yeah.
And the chassis becomes much more, and all the little stuff becomes much more important when you have to have it handled. So
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes.
All right, looking forward to hearing about that. Before we move on or open the floor, I want to take a moment to mention the slot car math trade thing that Jeremy's starting up. Jeremy, did you want to talk about the plans or do you want me to talk about it? Okay, so basically, if you look in the chat, the link to the Slot Car Math Trades Facebook is there way at the top, so you might have to scroll up a bit. The plan is once we get a few more members, once we hit 20 members, and then again, these are invited members, so the people who are inviting those people trust them to hold up their end of the whole trade process when we do a real trade. But once we get 20 members, we're going to do a dry run. So we're going to do a fake trade, math trade, where people will put up fictitious trade items and then pick fictitious trade items and pretend to send them off and stuff, just so that everybody gets a better understanding of how the process works from start to finish. Jeremy gets some experience using the math trade program in a more of a real life scenario situation, and then we'll shake out any issues doing the dry run, and then assuming that works out and questions are answered and problems are addressed, then we'll do an actual trade later on. So if you're interested in participating in the slot car math trade, hit up the link and we'll do that. Did I miss anything? Okay.
Nope. That's about it. We just need one dry run to go through and make sure, how we capture people's addresses, tracking, like postal tracking numbers are nice to add to the posts, and just so you know who's shipped it, when it's coming. And,
I'm
Wayne,
saying,
please participate, even though in real life you wouldn't want to participate, but I see you in that group, so just act like you're
I was
in the
interested onlooker, but because you're having a dry run, I may as well
do the
join
dry
in.
run. Just to see how it goes.
Okay.
But I'm not shipping to the UK, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we'll put in fake tracking links and all kinds of stuff just to make it look as close to real life as possible.
Sure.
We just won't be able to actually track things that don't actually get shipped. But yeah, I think it'll be fun to do the dry run, and then, like I said earlier on when we were talking about this, I've got a half a dozen cars that I'm trying to sell anyway, so I'll definitely have some trade fodder to put up for people.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Jeremy, do you mind posting the link in the chat again?
Sure.
I can't scroll up far enough.
Okay.
All right, so Jeremy's going to drop that link in there again. The floor is open, so if anybody has anything they want to talk about, circle back on, ask about, what about, now is the time. Does anybody want to? Let's do the vote on the whether we're going to do an immediate giveaway, or which we can talk about next week or later because we're running out of time. So the options are giveaway now, or wait till I get another payment and do a bigger, more expensive giveaway item. If you are in favor of doing a more expensive giveaway item later on in the future, raise your hand, raise your real hand, turn on your camera. I want to see hands on the screens and I will count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, only one hand per person. 8, 9, 10. Okay, out of 21. Oh, that's a hat. Come on, all right. That's like 50%. I need a more decisive thing. Okay, Brian's got his hand up, so that's 11. Okay, so I'm gonna make that executive decision. We're gonna wait for the next payment from Google, and we're gonna do a $200 ticket item instead of a $100 ticket item. So, this might be a tire truing machine. This might be a H&B test bench machine. This might be, if we can find a deal on a magnet Marshall, or maybe a prototype of a similar machine or something to that effect. So we'll have a little bit more money to play with on the next one. And as I said at the beginning of this video, hopefully you've made it this far. The way to make this happen sooner is for more ad revenue to come in, which means watching the video from start to finish and allowing ads to play, sharing the video to friends who you think might be interested in seeing any video on my channel, any video at all. If you think they're interested in 3D printing or laser tag, share them a laser tag or 3D printing video. I don't care. But pretty much any video on my channel, watching ads will get that money rolling in faster, and we might be able to get this done before Christmas. Otherwise, it'll happen when it happens, and we'll have fun talking about what the prize is going to be at that point in time. So, Jeremy's got his hand up. What were you going to say, Dewan?
I said I found it browsing YouTube on my TV and let my TV watch me in the middle of the night with the global chat going to do.
There you go. Great suggestion. If you've got a recent TV, fire up YouTube, find my channel with I don't know if it's active yet, but they're doing a YouTube handles, so you can find a YouTube channel with a much easier address. Mine's going to be @GGAUB, so eventually you'll be able to say youtube.com/@GGAUB to get to my channel, and then just go to the Worldwide Slot Car Chat playlist, hit number 1, and let it go.
Basically, we can cure insomnia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, especially some of those early
Don't need to count sheep.
Okay, so the floor is open for our last 10 minutes. Jeremy has his hand up. What's up, Jeremy?
Hey, I just wanted to give a shout out to Wayne, he gets a lot of shit around here, or stuff around here, but he came up with those ideas for these little containers, and then I got some off AliExpress, put little labels on them for pinions, 5.5 millimeter pinions across here. Oh, it's been wonderful. So just want to give him he found those tools, and that was a really nice idea.
And those are what are those sold?
I'm still looking for the perfect paper label for those, Jeremy.
Hold on, let me spot.
It looks like you found it and even printed them. That's awesome.
That's
that's off a label printer, right, Jeremy? Or
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a Brother P Touch labeler.
Yeah.
And then I have 5.58, so keep them all.
Well, you have to forgive Wayne. He got the idea from his nan, and she doesn't have a label maker.
Oh, there you go.
No.
I label everything.
She's still
Otherwise,
got one of those ones that go A, click, B.
Yeah.
Click.
it's got like little dent on top of it so you can feel it in Braille almost.
And then glues it on with a lighter.
Yeah, but that's been really handy. Just keep all of that around. Then I just keep this in my, I don't got to worry about where my pinions are versus my gears. It's really nice. And like $5. So
just don't get your tablets mixed up with your pinions.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure somewhere around Wayne's house they're going, where's my tablet holders? I don't know where they are.
While we're about YouTube stuff a little bit, I want to thank Jeremy for the idea of getting working those two new slot cars and testing them. I got more views on that than I did on anything on my channel.
That's awesome.
It was
there you
like
go.
863, and I'm going, what?
As many cars as you buy, this could be your niche. I mean, you start every time you buy a car, just do a quick review on it. You got something going there.
Well, I've got two coming. They're supposed to be here today, so I might do that.
And then
There you
check
go.
out Wayne's videos on how to set the cars up.
Already did that.
Oh yeah, those are fantastic. And
I don't think
was-
there's
I was
enough time
thinking
for you
about
to do
doing-
all that, Mike.
I was gonna say he actually crammed a whole lot of information in a really short amount of time. He was just like bam, 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 bam. I was like, ooh, this is good stuff. Do
Because
that
then
some more, Wayne.
one video on every car that he's got, it would be like, maybe the next couple centuries from now.
It would be the YouTube version of War and Peace.
There you go.
It's weird what happens on YouTube like that. Why some videos just blow up, and I never find out why.
No, I don't even try to.
I wouldn't even know how to start.
Well,
I gotta
it did blow up. The 20 of us watched it how many times?
I give kudos to John Kitt because you really inspired me with that the soldering with the open. I tell you, I was very inspired by that. I'm gonna have to try that.
Oh, it worked. It worked. My daughter taught me how to do that. I'm not steady enough with a big iron, so it's just like it's easier to aim a flame.
There you go, Paul. Someone else who gave it a lick with an open flame.
Yeah, I'm not answering that. I don't use them on my track anyway. I use proper soldering irons.
Brian,
Not those crappy soldering irons, but a proper soldering iron.
Yeah, mine was made in America. It says, Unger.
Really?
Yeah, the Ungar one is a well-known, reputable one. It's a good quality brand and stuff.
Yeah, more chassis built over the years with Unger irons than anything combined.
What about you, Don?
Mine still comes from my dad, so it ain't broke. So I carry on using it.
Go ahead, Don.
It's good for doing the old tape as well. When you
Shut up, Paul. We only got a couple minutes. What do you want to share, Don?
I got a question. I've got a couple of chassis here, or pieces of them, that I got in junk piles. One of them is this, and I have no idea who made it or what it is.
That's clearly intended to be like adjustable length, isn't it? With the front axle slots all over the place.
Well, it's a brass chassis, but it looks like it has a pod that goes in it.
Is it very heavy, Don?
About like any other stamped brass would be.
You know what? Now here's something, a new segment. Name that chassis.
I'm surprised Chris hasn't chimed in. Oh yeah, that's a bubbly ball.
Well, for the life of me, I've forgotten the menu. I've seen many of them. I've forgotten the manufacturer, but I will remember it for you.
As soon as we hit the stop button.
Probably
the other one is this one. Now, it was in pieces when I've got it, and I've put this much of it together.
Oh, that's more recent. I've seen that
Yeah,
one.
that's a recent 30 seconds. They had a name, but I can't remember them either.
I mean,
that's a Pro-Track Spider, I believe.
Ah, bang on. Well done.
Okay.
Anyone want to explain a Pro-Track Spider?
It's a modular assembly. It's like a Meccano for slot cars.
Well, every piece, and this one I haven't put in yet because I have to move the pinion. Every piece is like this.
Yeah.
Were they an early 3D print?
I think they were.
Looks like stamped metal to me.
Carbon fiber, but those look like they're anodized aluminum or something.
No, I think it was plastic.
It looks like the same stuff that they'd make a circuit board out of.
Right.
That's right, circuit board.
We used to race
That's
them
right.
in the 90s, circuit board chassis.
They're probably laser
they come
cut.
from Sweden.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
So now you know the name of it. You can find any details you're missing. Did you get it?
Well, I mean, the stuff I don't have to have with it is just the axles and the wheels and the guide. I mean, all the rest of it's there. I mean, there was a whole bag full of goodies that came with that. But
for you guys that have run that chassis, is it any good?
well, I haven't put any wheels on it, so other than hooking the motor up, which I already knew runs.
Anybody else run those chassis?
Yeah, they've been around for years. They're originally developed as a because it's the fiberboard chassis. They're very, very light. So when they first came out, there's a little cross piece that goes on the bottom that you mount magnets to. So they were a much better magnet chassis than they were a non-magnet chassis. You really had to add some weight to them to get them to work with a non-mag setup.
That's the piece you're talking about that the magnets go on.
Yeah.
They were really designed more for scratch building, like for taking a model and converting it to a slot car. Were they not, Chris?
Not really. They're originally designed to run with Lexan bodies and magnets.
That's right.
Chris, we used to run something similar like that in going back in Equa days before Bradska, and they were running with the Miura Group 20s in them.
Well, I don't remember that. They'd be a little light for that.
We used to get them from Sweden.
Okay, on that note, I'm gonna hit the stop button. We'll just do some random chattering. Here we go. Everybody wave bye. See you next week. Talk about giveaways and whatnot and World Cups and things. Bye.